So here I am at Planned Parenthood in Lancaster, and another bad day out here. It's great if you're in the business of murdering babies, but I got some thoughts that have come to me. When I came here, there's actually a lot of construction going on. I'm actually using a John Deere to propel my phone for this, but the roads are cleared off. We had to park far away to get here, but when I was walking down, I saw two things that sparked my interest. All the neighbors on this side of the street across from Planned Parenthood have a bunch of Harris and Walt signs, so we know where they are in life. The sign for Harris Walt says, "For the people." Now it's ironic because they're murdering people here, but I guess not for those people. Maybe for the people that want to murder those people that they're for. That's not a big surprise though, but on this side, in the parking lot, there's a man sitting in this big Ford Super Duty truck, and he's got an American flag with a good old buck deer in the front on his tag in the front. It's this big, all-America looking truck, and when we were trying to talk to him earlier, he just started blasting country music. And that just kind of reminds me of Christless conservatism. You've got the truck, you've got the hunting. This guy looks like he's a hunter with that tag. He's got the country music, but here he is parked outside of Planned Parenthood. Now, what would a conservative-minded man be doing at a place that murders babies, you might think? Well, it just reminds me a bit of what Christless conservatism really is. It's got the flag, it's got the trucks, it's got the lifestyle, it's got the love of freedom, and it has no Christ and none of Christ's law. Now, as you see here, my hoodie says Christ is King. And the scripture does teach that Jesus Christ is King of kings and Lord of lords. He is the ruler of the kings of this earth. Revelation 1. And my favorite thing about that is it doesn't matter if Revelation was written before 70 AD or during the 90s. It was still long ago, and Christ was king of the rulers of the earth then, which means he is now. Either way, Christ is king, and his law is king. I just want to talk a bit about Christless conservatism. Christless conservatism is about as useful for our country, useful for freedom, as it is today. Conservative-minded men coming to murder their babies. His girlfriend or wife or whatever's in there, she's been in there for at least an hour, maybe longer. He's out here playing his country music, and he probably feels like he's king of the world right now. I mean, he doesn't have to deal with the responsibility of caring for a child anymore. That's for certain. Maybe they already have kids. Maybe they don't. Who cares? They're killing their child. But this is Christless conservatism. This isn't someone who looks like he's voting for Harris. This doesn't look like someone who would be more of a left-wing mindset. But this is definitely someone who is not of a Christocentric mindset. And he is definitely not of a theonomic one. He has no interest for the commandments of God and for the rule and reign of Christ. The scripture says, John 14, verse 15, that if ye love me, keep my commandments. And I think one of the number one trademarks of what passes for conservatism, particularly Christless conservatism, as I'm calling it, in our country is there's some sort of professed desire to be under God, to even be Christian, dare we say. But there's a hostility to the law of God. And if you have conservative values, if you enjoy all the things about conservatism in this country, and yet you don't have Christ and his law, then at the end of the day, you're still going to come to Planned Parenthood and murder your baby whenever it's inconvenient for you. And that's what we're seeing today. So what's the way out of this? Well, it's not through Christless conservatism. It's not through voting. It's not for voting more red versus more blue. As we can see, everybody's into baby blood today. And we see that even with this election. We have Harris running off of a great love for baby blood, and we see that Trump doesn't want to abolish the shedding of baby blood. So really, at the end of the day, Christless conservatism is not going to save us. Only men and women of God humbling themselves before God and crying out to him to heal our land, and willing to put away our idols, including the idol of conservatism without Christ and his law. We need to put that away and turn back to God's law word. The only thing that's going to save our country from conservatives who murder their babies while celebrating their freedom is Jesus Christ and his law. You know, it's been said recently that there's only one gospel. Well, guess what? There's only one law. If we reject God and his law, what makes you think that we can have God and his gospel? You don't get the gospel of Jesus Christ without the law of God. Both of these things are needed to change our country and our political sphere. And until we wake up and realize that conservatism, secularism is not enough to save our country, you know what we're going to keep doing? We're going to keep murdering our babies and voting red. Isn't Christ's law better? I think it is. I hope you think it is too.